Asket's Explanations Part 2. Contact Reports Volume 1. Pages 323 to 325. February 7, 1953. Billy and Asket in the mountainous region of the Jordanian desert on the Dead Sea. Word-for-word account, with Asket's memory assistance, of Asket's explanations, on September 10, 1964, in Murali, India. Asket says, "The time has now come in which you are to experience many things which, at a later time, will be helpful to you and many others in the search for truth. You yourself will thereby play a great role because you will become a fact of tradition. I have already explained to you the possibility of time travel into the past or future. In accordance with our technology, we are in a position to undertake such trips and to now also employ them for the benefit of your coming mission. As it has been decided, you will travel back with me into various epochs in order to be able to examine the truth of events there and then to recognize that your traditions and the assertions of your religious antiquity researchers, and so forth, are false and unreal and only in very rare cases correspond to the actual occurrences. But now we still have some time and I can explain to you that which is most important. Also, I still await a visit from the man who we recently met near here. Otherwise, we will look for him in the morning and converse with him. Only after that will we make the first trip into the past together. But now I still have many explanations to provide to you. First, at various times you had pointed out to you your future path through life, which will be very wearying and burdensome. Right from the start you have already experienced, and come to know, that this corresponds to the truth. But the time of your apprenticeship is not yet finished, because it will still continue for about 20 years, during which you will experience very hard times and an enormously hard destiny. Were it already very hard and burdensome up until now, in the future it will be very much worse. Yet be aware that you unconditionally must complete this learning if you want to do your mission justice. The next years will bring you into a dungeon and wartime military service outside of your homeland. You will have to pass through all stages of a fighting human in order to be able to very precisely acquaint yourself with everything. Because if you are to understand things, you can only do this if you come to know everything yourself through your own experience. It will also be the case with different vices in which you will yet indulge for learning purposes. Severe physical pain will also remain just as near to you as will psychic pain. In the earth human meaning, you will experience hell, whereby only then, however, will you learn to understand heaven. I will now say up to you already, as Fath had already done, that in little more than 10 years you will have to take the hardest test of your life up to that point. Yet also this test, in your destiny, will be necessary in order to collect much knowledge. I largely know your future because I have penetrated it and I know that evil will befall you. A great change will take hold of your body, so you will suddenly live a completely new life. It will sound very hard for you just now, yet it must really be this way, and we are not able to change your fate, as it is not within our power. Our competence does not extend to these kinds of events. Consequently, we also cannot influence them. But it will be good for you to prepare for the coming event and to encounter the facts with clear reason. If you can do this, I will explain that which is to come. I have thought about this for a long time and have also consulted with others about whether I should do this or not, because we know very precisely that Earth humans cannot, or can only extremely rarely, cope with this kind of background knowledge. They want to be very hard and viable, yet this desire is only feigned. In themselves they are soft and unwilling, and do not want to bear their own burden. For that reason they are also never permitted to come to know important things of the future, because they are not capable of processing the knowledge of coming things. But in your case we have unanimously realized that you are well advanced in regard to these things, and you are big enough in yourself to cope with everything using reason. I cannot yet tell you the precise date on which the event will confront you whereby you will lose your left arm, but it will happen in the days between the 1st and 5th of August in the year 1965. This is determined this way for you, through your life and all circumstances, and it is impossible to avoid these events. But, until then, you have somewhat more than a decade to prepare yourself, by means of reason. I will explain the precise and wretched circumstances to you later. The further events of your future are the following, which you, however, are never permitted to tell anyone. Explanations of the future, about myself personally, about which, however, I must be silent. Explanation of Friday, February 7th, 1953. There will be further events in which, shortly before the loss of your arm in Persia, you will be called something new, in fact, the name, Billy. This naming conceals within it a great significance and will be very weighty. You will carry this name for all subsequent years, and it will bring you suffering and pain as well as slander, attempted murder and misconceptions, from outsiders as well as even from your closest fellow humans, from critics, those who are envious, know-it-alls, authorities, religions, and false prophets, and so forth. There will be extremely difficult years for you in which you will live and learn in further hells. Hate and foolishness against you will rise in your own family, whereby you will acquaint yourself with the last secrets of the human and his psyche, when someone in your family betrays you. Peace will finally only slowly come for you after a long time, namely when you have already long fulfilled your own mission. Only then will the signs of peace very slowly begin for you, because you will no longer take the attacks against your life and your mission seriously. But the time until then is still long, and very many hard and wild events will roll over you. The name, Billy, intended for you, will become significant worldwide, and suffering as well as need and pain will threaten to drown you. But manage yourself in accordance with your reason and in accordance with your understanding, because these alone guarantee your life. So, 8 months after your accident, you will marry under very difficult circumstances after you meet your future wife at Christmas time 1965. The circumstances of acquaintanceship, up to the marriage in Corinth in Greece, will be defined by extraordinary evil intrigues and evil entanglements from your bride's side of the family, whereby you will be forced to kidnap your bride, who, furthermore, will be only 17 years old. Do not think, however, that after the wedding you will have gotten all your problems behind you, because the actual difficulties first start after that and will continue during all the coming years.